Hi students, welcome back to our C++ course. This is end of chapter 1. So I am going to give you assignment regarding flowchart. Before that, let me revise what we see together, and let me show you again how to work on flowchart when we are doing flowchart. What kinds of steps should have we follow? First of all, you have to know these points. Every program of flowchart, when you are doing flowchart, should begin with the oval symbol, that contain inside start or begin, and at the end also you can put again oval shape and write inside stop or end. Okay. The second point is that in every program flowchart, crossing flow lines should be avoided. Instead of crossing the line instead of crossing the flow lines, you can use a connector. Okay. On third point, we have that only one flow line should come out from IO, which means input output, and the process symbol. Only one line, okay, should come out. This is the rule. On fourth point, we have only one flow line should enter again a decision symbol. Only one flow line should enter a decision symbol. Okay, but the flow line one from each possible. Okay, from each possible answer should leave the decision symbol. Okay, maybe two. When they are leaving the decision symbol, maybe this is 2 or 1. Okay. The fifth point is that all blocks of the flowchart are connected with arrows, not line. You have to make sure that, okay, you have to make arrow when you are connecting them. At the last, we have that only one flow line is used in conjunction with terminal symbol. Okay. Let us see some examples. Extra examples are there, you have to follow. Okay. Examples how to draw flowcharts. Let me take one example. Example 1. It says that draw a flow for a problem. Draw a flowchart for a problem that can calculate a sum and the average of two numbers. Okay. When you see these kinds of questions, first of all, before drawing a flowchart, you have to put algorithmic expression or pseudocode. Okay, which means false code. The algorithmic expression for this may be first you have to read value of two numbers, maybe x and y or a and b. Then add two numbers x and y. After that, assign to some variable, which means sum is equals to x plus y, since the question says that sum and the average. Then after you get the result for sum, you have to divide that sum by 2 to get what? Average, and assign that for what? For average. Okay, or for another thing like zx, you can use any variable. On fourth, you can also display the output. That's the last. The output is average maybe or sum. Okay, let's see the solution. This is the algorithm. Read the value of two numbers, maybe x or y or a or b. After that, which means the question says that draw a flowchart for a problem that calculate sum and the average of two numbers. It says two numbers, because of that we are reading two numbers. Okay, then sum, it says sum and the average. First of all, you have to add. Okay, add two numbers x and y and assign to sum. Okay, again it asks also average. So after you get sum, it's easy. You have to divide by 2 and divide the sum by 2 and assign to average, which means average is equals to sum over 2. And the last step, nothing remains, just displaying the output. Okay, which means average. Let us draw flowchart for this. First of all, we have to start by oval shape and write inside start. Then you have to show the flow of the program using arrow. Then you have to read the number by what? You are taking that number, input output. Okay, read x and y. Then what you have to do, you have to add it and assign for what? For sum. Okay, this arrow show the flow of the program. Sum x plus y is assigned for sum. Now we use what? Process symbol. Okay, the rectangle, this rectangle is process, because we are adding inside the computer using by process. Okay, we have to write code for that. After that, the next thing is what we add. Now we need average also. Okay, there is some output here, sum. When we add x and y, we get some value, maybe z. Okay, so you have to assign that for sum. So for getting average also, we have to divide that sum by 2. Again, we have to draw a process symbol. Okay, not input output. So first of all, we have to show a process of the program using arrow, then process symbol, a rectangle, average. You know, we assign sum, we divide sum by 2 and assign the result for what? For average. Okay, what is next? The next thing is, just after we finish this, we have to what? Display. We get the result for sum also, for average also. So you can print or output or write what? Average. First of all, let us show the flow by using arrow. Then we have to use symbol of input and output. For input also we have to use this symbol, for output also this. Okay, on last we have to what? Finish the program by using oval shape and writing inside int. Okay, first let us show the program using follow of the program using arrow, then stop or end. Okay, this is how to draw flowchart. You have to know these 6 symbols properly. Okay, let us see again another example how to draw flowchart. Example 2, it say that write pseudocode and draw a flowchart for a problem that identify the given numbers. Okay, which means we are going to write a pseudocode and draw what? A flowchart. It is easy to draw flowchart after we write pseudocode. Okay, for which problem? A problem that identifies the given number, whether it is what? Even or odd. Okay, let us go to write pseudocode. Pseudocode, when we say pseudocode means false code. Okay, just putting something, design like that on the paper. First of all, we have to read the value, the number that we are going to check whether it is even or odd from the user. We have to read it, that number. Then after you take that number and read it, you have to check it. The second step is to check. First is to read, second is to check whether it is even. If it is even, we have to say what? Yes, it is even. But if it is odd, we have to say no, it is what? It is odd. Okay, let us see the solution. Algorithm description is look like this. Read the value of x, then if it is yes, print what? X is what? Even. But if it is no, print x is what? Odd. Okay, this is the pseudocode or false code. So let us come to drawing the flowchart. By what we can start, as I mentioned previously, we have to draw oval shape, writing inside begin or start. Okay, I choose start here. You can write if you want to begin. Then I have to show the flow of program using arrow. Okay, then I have to read the number by using input output diagram. Okay, folks, this is what it is reading the number x. After it read the number, it have to check whether it is even and or odd. Okay, before that we have to show the process or the flow of program using arrow. Then I have to use decision symbol, which means diamond. Now I am going to give it whether how to check whether that number is even or odd. For checking the number, if it is even or odd, we have to divide by 2. If we get remainder, that number is odd. Okay, for example, 3 is odd. If we divide 3 by 2, we have 1 remainder. Okay, 5 is also odd. If we divide 5 by 2, we have remainder again. So, but if we divide even by 2, there is no remainder. So this is called a decision. X modulo 2 is equals to 0, which means if we divide x by 2, the remainder is equals to 0. It's asking. Here we have 2 outputs, yes or no. If the user enter odd number, it become what? No. If he enter even, it become yes. If it is yes, the flow of the program is like this. We will show using arrow. Then x is what? Even. We are using input output diagram, okay, because we are displaying on the screen, or we are giving the result, okay. And then what is next? We have to stop. We are using oval shape, okay. This is end. But what about if it is no? If it is no, the flow of program is look like this. The arrow show the direction of flow of program. So again we have to write what? Input output diagram in the right inside x is odd, okay. So we have to say what again? Stop. This is how to write how to draw a flow chart, okay. Let us see another example how to draw flow chart. Example 3. What it say? Write down an algorithm and draw a flow chart. First of all, we have to write algorithm. After we write algorithm, it's easy to draw flow chart, okay. To find what? Print the largest of 3 numbers. Read numbers one by one. We have to read the number one by one, and we have to compare those 3 numbers and display the largest one, okay. So now we are going to draw we are going to write what? Algorithm. When we think in our mind, first of all we have to take the number. Since the question says that read numbers one by one, we have to take first on first step we have to take number 1, first number. Then we have to say by default, let us say number 1 is maximum number, okay. Then we have to take the second number. Then if the second number is greater than the maximum number, which means which we say by default and number 1 is maximum, then if that is true, then max or maximum number is equal to what? N2, number 2. But if not, number 1 is the first number is what? Maximum. We have to go that step by that step, okay. This is the algorithm. Step 1, input N1. Let us say assign number 1 as maximum. Step 3, input the second number. Now we have 2 numbers, so we have to know from these 2 numbers which one is the maximum number. On step 4, okay, if number 2 is greater than max, then max is equal to which? What? N2. Step 5, again we have to take the third number, which means we say input N3. On step 6 also we have to check the condition. If N3 is greater than max, now this max contain 2 value based on the condition, step 4 condition, okay. If N2 is greater than max, which means we already say max is N1, then N2 is the value of max. But if it is this condition is not true, then the value of max is N1, okay. So we compare N3 with max. Now on step 6, if N3 is greater than max, if this is true, then we have to assign N3 for max, and we say max is equals to N3, okay. On step 7 we have to print the largest number is max, okay. Now let us draw a flow chart. Start showing the direction of the program flow. What is next? Reading, okay. Input output diagram, okay. Input number 1. What's next? We have to assign max for N1. Let us say the first number is maximum, because before inputting N1 the system is empty, so it take a number now, so it become what? Max is equals to N1 by using what? Process diagram or process rectangle, this one, okay. Then max is equals to N1 we say. Then we are going to take again N2 by using input output diagram, input N2. So the next step is now we have 2 numbers, we have to compare. Based on condition, we have to give the rank for N2 and N1, okay. So the floor of the program, then diamond structure, N2 is greater than max, it is asking, okay. If it is yes, what we'll do, it assign max for N2. Now N1 is not max, okay, if this condition is true. But if it is false, it continue and it do what? Take the result, another result, okay. Now it is true, let us say. So if it is true, N2 is equals to max, or max is N2 now. Then what is next? we are going to take the third number, input n3, by using input output diagram. Okay, but if this condition is false, what will happen? Max is n1. Okay, now directly after we take n3, we have to compare. Now max, as I told you previously, contain the value of n2 or the value of n1 based on this condition. Okay, which means the condition that say n2 is greater than max. Okay, if it is true, max contain the value of n2, but if it is false, max contain the value of n1. Okay, now again we need another condition. Let us show using arrow the flow of the program direction. So if it is false, as I told you, if n2 is less than max by default, which means n1 is max, then it jump max is equals to n2 and directly come toward what? Input n3. Okay, now let us show the second condition for comparing n3 with max. This is the flow of program direction. Now diamond structure, because we are going to compare n3 with max. n3 is greater than max. It's asking if it is yes, max is equal to what? n3. Then displaying directly or giving output. Output is what? Or result is what? The max is what? n3. Okay, and we display output max using input output diagram. But if this one is false, by default n3 is the lowest number. It means that, okay, because we compare n3 with n1 and n2, so we know by default that as n3 is what? The lowest number, if this condition is false. Okay, if it is false, it directly display what? Max is outputted. Okay, which means n2 or n1 is displayed. So what is left? Now we have to finish our flowchart diagram by drawing oval shape and the right inside end or stop. Okay, stop. This is end of our flowchart. Okay, let me add another example how to draw flowchart. Example 4: draw a flowchart of an algorithm for summing the first 50 integers. Okay, we are going to add the first 50 integers. Okay, this is it looks like this when we see the algorithm initialize sum to 0 and the counter to 1. Because we need counter, we are going to add numbers from 0 to 50, which means 50. So we need the counter. We have to initialize sum to 0, counter to 1. If you want, you can assign counter to 0 also, because you can edit it inside. You can make it counter plus 1 or counter plus plus. Okay, if the counter is less than or equal to 50, we are going to step 3, which means add counter to sum. Else we are jumping in the print the sum or jump to step 6. Okay, let us see how to draw the diagram for this flowchart diagram. Start, we say flow of the program. Now there is no need of drawing input output box, because why? It's already given. No need of reading. Just the question is given us the all things that we need. Okay, it says that add the numbers found between below 50. Okay, so we have just to assign sum 0 for sum and 0 for what? Counter. Okay, then we are going to make condition. First of all, we have to show the program flow using arrow, then diamond structure. Counter is greater than 50. If this is true or yes, then we have to stop and print. But if it is false, we will go forward. Okay, this condition is looping until 50 counter become greater than what? 50. So if this is false, now counter is how much we have? Counter is 0. 0 is greater than 50? No. So counter is equals to counter plus 1. Counter plus 1 is assigned for what? Counter, which means 0 plus 1. Now the value of counter is how much? It is 1. Okay, again we need what? process rectangle. Sum is equals to what? Sum plus counter. Okay, the value of sum is 0. 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. Now we have sum 1, counter also 1. Again, the flow of program is directly come back toward what? Counter. Okay, counter is less than greater than 50? No, because counter is 1. 1 is not greater than 50. Again it come counter plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2 assigned for counter. Now counter become 2. Sum, already sum value was 1, so 1 plus 2 is 3. Now we have 3. The value of sum is 3. The value of counter is 2. 2 is greater than 50? No, again it come down. Counter 2 plus 1, 3. Counter is now 3. Sum is how much? 3. So sum plus counter, 3 plus 3 is 6. So 6 is the value of sum. Counter is 3. 3 is greater than 50? No. Again it come down. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 6, it become 10. It come there again. 4 is greater than 50. It continue like this until counter become greater than 50. Let us say now counter become 56, for example. Now it is true. Okay, then when this condition become true, it directly the flow of program become toward this and print what? Sum, and stop the program. Okay, this is the flow chart. Let us come to example 5. How to draw. Write down an algorithm and draw a flow chart to find print the largest of n numbers. N can be any number. Read numbers one by one, say. Okay, answer. This it look like this. Input n, input current, max is assigned for current. Then counter is also assigned. 1 is also assigned for counter. While counter is less than n, which means any number that's given by the user, it repeats step 5. Okay, which means it repeats steps. Okay, step 5 through 8, from 5 up to 8 is repeated, which means counter plus 1, input next. Then if next is greater than max, then the value of next is assigned for what? Max. If it is false, it print what? Max. Okay, let us see the flow chart. First of all, we have to draw oval and write inside start. Then we have to show the flow of the program. Then we have to take input n and current. This is input output diagram. Then we have to show the flow of the program using arrow. Now we have to draw the process rectangle. Why? We are going to max and current. Okay, we are going to assign the value of current for what? For max. After that, we have to also draw the process diagram by showing after we show the flow of the program direction by using arrow. We assign 1 for what? For counter. What's the next now? We did what the question provided for us. We assign current for max. We assign 1 for counter. We also take by using input output diagram n and the current. We have to draw. We have to show the flow of program using arrow and draw decision symbol, which means diamond. Now it's the time to make decision whether counter is less than a number, which means n, which entered by the user, or not. Based on this, we will do what we told. Okay, counter is less than n. If it is yes, what we will do? Counter is equals to counter plus 1. Okay, we have two answers here, yes and no. Then counter is equals to counter plus 1. Again, flow of program. Again, we have to input what? Next. Okay, again here we have to use diamond structure symbol. Why? We need to put condition here whether next is greater than max or not. Okay, next is greater than max. We have two answers, yes or no. If it is yes, max, we assign next for max already. Then this come directly toward the first the decision symbol, which means diamond. It repeat, okay, until this become what? False. This until counter become greater than what? Greater than n. If it is no, if next is greater than max is no, for example, what it will do? It directly connect to what? That one. Okay, it jump, which means max is greater than next, it jump, because that is next is not greater than max, because of that. Okay, and it repeat all this process until counter become what? Less than n. When counter is greater than n, until counter become greater than n, I mean, okay, when counter is greater than n, when counter is become greater than n, then it become, the answer is no, and the answer the flow of the program become on this direction, and what? Directly it print max. Okay, you can use also this as input and output symbol. Okay, this and that one's also the same. After that we have to stop. Okay, this is how we have to do, how to draw a flowchart. Okay, for that question. This is exercise. Now I am going to give you assignment. This is 4 questions available here. Write an algorithm and draw a flowchart to print the square of all numbers from low to high. Test with low is equals to 1 and the high is equals to 10. Write an algorithm for a program that accepts a set of numbers and find the smallest among them. Compute the sum of numbers accepted. The program stops when the user enter number what? 999. Convert the algorithm into flowchart. The third question say write an algorithm and draw a flowchart for a program that will find and print the number of vowels in a given set of characters and print 3 numbers of occurrences. Question number 4 say that write pseudocode and draw flowchart for converting decimal whole number to binary number. Okay, this is assignment to be submitted next week. Okay, and inform to all students also. Thank you.